Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So welcome to Back to Basics, an American truck simulator. I'm going to take this tractor from the location here in Hayes to another city in Kansas that I haven't been to yet. So it'll just be a good discovery point. Get me a little closer, and then we'll be kind of getting ourselves down to where we can get into Texas, New Mexico. Areas we've not been here in this series. And just start digging around as we wait for other things to be released within the game and so forth. So let's get going. Alright. So again, welcome back if you're new to the series. As you can see, I've got a flatbed trailer, which is part of my company. So I own this, so I tend to go around and find loads for my trailer and my tractor to move around. So one thing I did notice, it took me a while. Sometimes I show me picking and choosing and whatever, but I could see when I went in that I had a lot of options, probably 10 screens full, which is...
Recomputing.
Okay. Didn't it say turn right? That's right, okay. Right. We do have a little bit of, hey, it's not showing here, so that was the thing I was trying to figure out versus Euro Truck, is do I have some sort of weird setting option where I can't see the line at all, but because I'm using base maps, the GPS is a lot more
right. And then turn right.
Reliable, so as long as I don't blow through an intersection, I should be okay.
Turn right.
So, not quite sure where it was taking me, but either way, it's taking me this way now, and we'll go there. There was a little bit of distance to get to the location I needed to get to for pickup, so I kind of expected it would be a ways, but I have 9 hours and 43 minutes to get there. That was one thing I was looking, because when it's not right there and the buttons, the dots aren't overlapping, it's an issue. So looks like we got a World War II memorial or something, a war memorial if nothing else. I'm thinking that type of gun was World War II. I don't think it was World War I. Honestly, if I think back, I can't think of a lot of World War I memorials that I'm even aware of in the country. Not that I'm aware of a ton of things in other areas. I mean, kind of where you might expect, the most war memorials we tend to have consolidated that are really national war memorials are in Washington D.C. and
go straight.
Yeah, there's like a Korean War one that recently went in. Probably most recently. It's still been quite a while ago. I actually haven't seen that one in person or visited that, but the Vietnam Wall, I think people are familiar with. It's been in movies. Scenes have taken place there. Oh, we got a plane flying around. Oh, shadow just went right across the intersection. So there you go. But little towns, like towns everywhere, and so certainly out here, Nebraska, Kansas, you'll have things like that, where in the city center or a park somewhere, the town will have put up memorial to its sons and in some cases daughters who lost their lives in service during that conflict. And those are obviously, unless you live in the area or live near them, I suppose you could probably look on the internet and find things, but those are probably more challenging. So I like these Explore Hayes, Welcome Hayes posters, flags on the poles. Didn't see that before, but nice little touches again that the crew has put in place. All right, so we're going to organic farms, and 2 organic farms. So basically it's simulating, I guess, a farming empire of some
Go
sort,
straight.
where they've got multiple farms and they're just having us move some heavy equipment between one and the other. Let me make sure he's not coming around and then suddenly hitting me. It's always dangerous to just think, oh yeah, he's just gonna go. But unless he was coming onto the interstate, which is not an uncommon thing if you think about it, unless that was happening. Now it's interesting that all those are waiting on the inside. But they are. Good news is these are 2-lane
Go straight.
roundabouts, so that the cars don't have to like cut over. Tostitos truck. I'm not sure. Oh, good. He's one of those AI drivers. We get a really good look at this Tostitos truck. Is it gonna let me go? But yeah, the Truck Sim AI. Welcome to the world. If you're unfamiliar with it. All right, let me get myself set to speed, and I think it's that little tiny spur that we see. So 3 intersections, well now 2. Oh really? Turn left here? No, that can't be. I think they're lying to me. Oh no, that's Pioneer. So I do know, again, why am I doubting the GPS on a base map? There's no extra roads that it might get confused with, things like that. I was just figuring, yeah, it's a farm, it's gonna be, but this is tucked away even more in the back somewhere than otherwise, so it's gonna give us even more rooms.
Turn right.
So as we get to a pickup depot, one of the announcements they had is, I like that spur road that they haven't quite finished yet, but that definitely, there's some of those projects that happen that people eventually are like, yeah, we got a little extra money, let's lay down a few 100 feet and just let things go a little straighter. And I might have been able to drive through there, I suppose. Now that I look at it, I suppose I could try it on the way back. See if it's like a hidden road in the map.
Get ready to turn left.
But I like that vista out way into the distance. That's definitely views you get, especially at some tiny, little hill that you would be driving through. But they were talking about they have some more 1.51 updates. And in this series, we will go to 1.51 because that's the benefit of having, we're just doing regular cargo market. We're not doing World of Trucks. I did look at both. All right, so we're going, yes, to Garden City. They have quite a few things moving, if you really look at it, including an autonomous tractor. So a little bit of a Tesla tractor or something there that way. And we're going to take this job. It was like losing my mind. What do I do now? But they're talking about chip vans and grain hoppers, which are not new trailer types that they're bringing. I guess they already exist. Again, we're obviously using the trailer we own. I wonder if I can. No, I can't. I can't get over there. Oop! I heard it, but ignored it because I'm like, I gotta turn around. But yeah, I do have to turn around. So chip van would be exactly the kind of stuff you're looking at there, which looks like a pile of wood chips that they might be using for bedding or something in there. Hopefully we can make this turn and it won't be too impossible. There we go. Now the real question is, can I... Wow. This might be a bad idea. I may just go and peek. Oh yeah, I have to back in here from further out. So let me think this through. So I'm gonna go here and then get the trailer into the road, and then head toward the exit. Again, this series, not getting out of the cab. So, whoops, let me slow down my rate there because we got that tank. I don't know what else we have beyond there. I don't remember. I wasn't paying much attention. But, I think we're okay. Alright, good news is it was pretty wide, and that's somewhat what I remembered. That we had some movement areas that we could go into. But going back to what I was starting to share, chip vans, grain hoppers, they were talking about animated loading. And so looking at some of the screenshots, if they had videos, I didn't see that or take a peek at that. But basically what I would describe it as, that it sounds like to me, it's like what we have in Farming Simulator when I go and load something where if I go pick up supplies, say, or, you know, if I pick up some kind of grain from my own silo or whatever, let's say that, and it's an animated loading, like it's pouring, you can see the material pouring into the trailer, it fills up, so forth. You know, again, will you see it fill up? Maybe not. I mean, chip vans and stuff tend to be open on the top. Grain hoppers are more enclosed. It'd be almost like getting liquid poured into a tanker. But hoppers could be open, I suppose, too. And so they're talking about animated loading, and they're just adding more opportunities for that. And while, yes, it's coming to the new DLCs along with some of the existing locations like here in Kansas and so forth, but they are also doing what they're calling prefab depots in across the US. So they're going to basically be bringing it to other states as well where you could encounter them, but once again, I'm not using that trailer type. Yeah, maybe one of these days. But yeah, pretty nice modern type farming facility. As you drive around the US, there's certainly some very old, not kept up too well, look like small family farms. That's pretty common, you know, and I'm sure those guys are almost at a subsistence farming level where they're just making enough to get by, and they're not going to have any savings, but they probably have to work until they have no choice, and it almost becomes a family endeavor where, you know, the family will, someone younger will have to work the farm when you can't anymore, just to be able to have some money and get through things. So let's get our JCB loaded. So we got this up and strapped down, harder to see there, but we'll get out and look around. But sometimes we'll get loads that are a little bit more full of the tractor of the trailer. So I could have grabbed like 3 JCB generators for a different job from somewhere else to obviously somewhere else. This was the only job to Garden City. So that's one of the reasons I took it too. Now again, I may regret this because maybe I'll have no jobs out of Garden City for my lovely flatbed, but that is a concern for another time. As a jobber, you know, as I think about this, you know, you could say, especially if you're like an owner-operator or whatever, is this the original gig economy? Is this really, you know, kind of using the lingo of the day, is this the OG gig? And because really, if you think through what I just said, I mean, that's what you're doing. It's like, oh, this job came up, let me grab it. Let me go do this particular work. Alright, do I try? Because, yeah, there is a signpost. I'm going to go very, very slowly in case I hit some invisible wall. There's no X's. But in theory, like, it should let me go through here. Alright, at this point, I think we're safe. Of course, it might just block me on the other end or something. It's interesting, though. I'm disappointed a little bit that we're not getting, like, some invisible road discovery here. But we're not. Alright, again, let me slow down. I don't quite know what that sound was.
Finding a new route.
Oh, I see. It was my GPS. Like, what did you just do? Alright. Well, we got to drive it, but we didn't get to discover it or anything like that.
Get ready to turn right.
Still a nice little unexpected feature.
Turn right.
So, but yeah, the gig economy idea. But at the end of the day, I mean, in essence, that's what an owner-operator is. You're kind of a gig worker. I mean, and even on the other piece, you're just employed by someone who, in essence, is operating as a gig type thing. I mean, yes, you can have companies that have ongoing contracts that, hey, we're hauling for Walmart or FedEx. I mean, I think FedEx is probably one of the ones that I would say are larger. I don't know until I started working within the trucking industry that I actually understood that unlike UPS, FedEx doesn't run their own trucking network. That FedEx, if you look at it and you ever see a FedEx truck on the road, and go look at whatever's on the door, it might be painted on, it might be decaled on, whatever, but it's actually another company that is basically doing the FedEx work, but
right.
It's
and then exit right.
So it's FedEx liveried trucking.
Exit right.
But it's not FedEx trucks and FedEx drivers. They're contractors. Where UPS uses their own trucks and drivers. I mean, I'm sure they use contractors for overflow and stuff like that too, but and yes, you're still getting like, okay, here are your loads for the day. Now spread it amongst the 4 trucks your company owns or something like that. So it's a little less because you kind of know that you're going to have something. I had actually looked to try to see if I could get accepted at one point when Amazon first started basically doing the same type of thing with their last mile delivery to homes and so forth. They put out this thing to get entrepreneurs who would run a company that would run a bunch of vans, and you would go and have your business, and in essence you're kind of guaranteed work as long as you're doing well, because Amazon's always going to have deliveries in a certain area, and it's like, okay, you're the one that covers this space, so this is your territory, and any deliveries we have go there. But in any event, it was just one of those things as I'm talking that kind of came to mind, and a little bit of a different variation on the topic, because obviously I try to talk about trucking or whatever. Obviously I also talk about other things on the channel, this and that, just because we've got time to spend together. But this isn't too terribly long of a run, but I did know going to get the load and stuff was going to take a little bit of time. So, vitro architectural glass. I wonder, I do wonder if they're starting to just put other real-time ads in there. It's not a company I'm familiar with, but I'm not really in the market for industrial glass, so I don't know that I would ever have come across them. I see, probably because of the airport, so these light poles are painted in that red and white. Like, that is an interesting choice or design. I wonder, see, if this signpost on the side, if this used to be the old Route 66 type of route, I don't know that I-70 would go along that, but it could be something similar. where this used to be just a 2-lane road, and then they just took the right of way, and there was still land available. Whether they used what we call here in the U.S. eminent domain, which is basically where a municipality, city, county, whatever, will go ahead and take land for public good, and they compensate people when they do that with fair market value and so forth. It's not like they're like, we're just annexing your land, and too bad, sorry, you're losing it, and you get nothing for it. But, so it's like, was there an old hotel or something sitting right off the side of the road here, which obviously for an interstate they'd eliminate and return back to the landscape, because for safety reasons you certainly don't want buildings that are sitting there, especially abandoned buildings at this point, because it's not like you're going to still leave it in a way you can pull off. Now this is a lot of traffic. I'm going to move over to the left. My goodness. I cannot believe they stopped entirely. But yes, I'm sure this exit is somehow backed up. Oh, there's construction.
Right. And then
All right.
exit right.
Well, oh, really? Well, I can't, because,
Exit
you
right.
know, it's the detour, the wonderful detours that we have at default level here. So, looks like a truck tipped over. An interesting thing to have happen on not a very challenging ramp, but that's what they've got. So, and now the challenge will be, how do we get where we need to get? So now all of a sudden this turn's longer than we wanted. Now the question is, yeah, it looks like the ramp going down is open. So my guess is we're simply going to go here. Well, actually, we might not turn around, but we'll see if the roads come together. You would think.
Right. And then exit right.
You would think it's close enough that it's going to get me kind of in the direction I need to go.
Right.
So, alright, that wasn't too bad. Now the question is, yeah, is it going to have me go left?
Turn left.
Yeah? Okay. So it might just be turning me around. Because there aren't a whole lot of roads that then come back. They really kind of take you different places in the SCS universe, because they don't create that much of a road network. Again, that's where like ProMods Europe is really nice, because they'll do a lot more of that, I think, where you're getting things. I didn't reorient my camera. Ooh, he must have some kind of custom wheels there. Oh, there they go. They finally got figured out and rendered. Oh, okay. Well, it's not telling me, so I'll just keep going. It didn't tell me to get back on. So maybe this is heading. Yeah, it does look like there's something coming from the left, so that could be the other exit. What is happening with the traffic today? I was like looking at my GPS, and suddenly I'm like, vehicles in my windscreen are getting larger. But, yeah, I'm feeling like we're getting really close to another state release here. There's just a lot of stuff coming for Arkansas, which would logically be,
and then turn left.
Logically be one that we would get soon, because otherwise we're waiting for Missouri and Iowa are the other two announcements that are in the pipeline. I don't think I'm forgetting any others. I'm trying to remember if Louisiana was actually announced. I don't know. It's a good thing when you have so much going on in a sim ecosystem that you start to lose track of all the stuff that you're going to have coming. So that's pretty cool. This is not a fun intersection. What is going on? Are we just waiting for all those guys to turn left? like, why is... Alright, I'm like, I was beginning to wonder, like, is sometimes the AI gets broken, for lack of a better term, where you just can't do anything. I'm going to go over here, assuming we're going to turn right.
Keep right. And then turn right.
Alright, and there we go, Garden City. You can see it on the sign.
Turn right.
Alright. Fire truck. Again, little family farm like we talked about. Little tiny silos, not huge grain complex or anything. Alright, 77 miles, so we've still got a pretty good way to go here. I'm trying to remember if I zeroed myself out. I think I did, but maybe I didn't. I must have, because I wouldn't just be at 108, 109 miles here otherwise. But a nice little drive through Kansas. So pretty sweet, and just getting to experience just a little bit more of the DLC that was relatively recent, if you think about it. I mean, obviously it's been months. I did take a look back at some point, I think, when I was just trying to figure out, because that's the other thing. I think we're waiting for 3 DLCs in Euro Truck, which is honestly, I think, the first time that's ever happened. So they're pretty busy on all fronts. But Euro Truck, we are going to be more delayed because, yeah, I've made that decision. Like, I'm going to stay on an older version in Pro Mods when a DLC comes out, so that I can just keep running that series and keep enjoying Euro Truck. And then when I can finally add things on, just like recently, I bought West Balkans quite a while after West Balkans came out. So, you know, that's not a series where you're going to see new DLC in any kind of a timely way, but you will see it when Pro Mods finally integrates with it. And no reason to think it won't, but it can take 6 months to a year, as I found out with West Balkans. So not going to suddenly not have that series for that long again, like I did once. I learned my lesson. So I'm assuming, are those like bluffs? That is interesting. And I'm guessing that is something they came across or saw somewhere. And it's not, that is odd. Yeah, that is really odd. I don't know if that's some sort of a actual attraction in this area of Kansas. Who knew? Because first I thought it was a cut that they had made for some reason just into the ground. And, you know, there was a road, something, you know, the farmer or whoever owned that land did something, or that it was a public road. We've got a lot of vultures circling. Something might have happened. We better be careful. We got some construction here. I'm thinking this may be a pop-up, but this may be something that is just part of the map and is here in this location. Alright, cool. We did make it just in time, or we'd be waiting like those folks are. Glad we didn't run the red light, or we'd be getting a ticket, I'm sure, from that gentleman or lady there. Napa Auto Parts. Very popular auto parts chain, so not unexpected to see their trucks. You don't see them nearly as often as you used to. I think that is also something that I would say has been a change in society. I think a lot of us in the U.S. used to do a good amount of work ourselves on our own cars. And now, because of all the automation and the computers and the sensors, you know, you need that OBD2 scanner or something, which, again, you can buy, you know, and read your own codes and you know, figure out what is going on with your vehicle. But really, you know, I used to do my own oil changing. Some of that is environmental as well, because, not that I ever did that and like went out in the backyard and just dumped my used oil on the ground. But I think, again, in areas of the country like this, I think that happened. Maybe it still happens a lot. I don't know. It would just be one of those that, people wouldn't know. And, with America in the land of freedom, that includes, sadly, sometimes the freedom to do really things that are bad, things that are not the best choices. Because I can't imagine someone pouring, black, dirty oil on the ground is like, before it was like officially like, hey, don't do this. So, can I go around that? It's not showing me that I can. I feel like I'm going to have to back in there, and so I'm going to have to turn around again, but I don't know. Oh, it wouldn't matter. It doesn't look like, even if I could drive through there, yeah, I couldn't get through.
You have arrived at your destination.
So yeah, I think I'm going to have to do the same type of thing where I pull in here and then back up. So again, really nicely done depots that just give you some variety of scenery and, how you have to deal with the challenge of, now I'm here, now I need to get this in. I got a fence over there, but hopefully I was a little closer than I should have been, but I think I'll be alright. What are we hearing? Are there cows over there? There is something. Looks like some sort of little, I think that we'd call those Quonset huts, like small ones, obviously, because there are, oh yeah, it's definitely cows. Now I heard a good moo. I like that. I like those ambient sounds they've added in. So I don't really see any. So yeah, so that might be where they have some of the baby calves and just let them sit and live on their own, which, is, that ends into the whole, what you feel like about, whether you're one of those folks who might be vegan or vegetarian out of principle, because it's like, I don't want to be part of what drives the livestock ecosystem, and that we're raising animals for slaughter so that we can eat them and so forth. But maybe there's little calves that become veal later, because that is veal is calf meat as opposed to full-grown cow meat, which will be beef, steak, and I guess technically not cows for steak or beef, it'd be steers. But stop the engine, and here we are. So, normal-sized episode, even though it was a short load, because I can go up to I think I can go up to 400 miles, and there were definitely plenty of options if I wanted to go that far, but I was like, yeah, I'll keep it a little short. So, but again, with the long distance, I kind of figured that would work. So if nothing else, maybe Organic Farms will have me move some more equipment from one location to the other, and then that's what we'll be doing for a bit. Who knows? But finally making a little bit of money. I'm trying to remember. I think we paid off a loan or something that we had gotten, and had made enough profit to do that, and that's how our bank balance is down. As opposed to what happened to me recently in Farming Simulator. You'll see that in a while. It's the current year I'm working on, so had a really good money-losing learning experience in that sim. So that's always part of the fun with sims. You start to be like, this decision didn't work out quite like I planned. But decisions are going well here in this series. Hope you've enjoyed this ride along in Kansas. If you have and haven't dropped a like, please consider that. It's greatly appreciated. As well as if you're not a subscriber, please consider that. And I will see you next time.